Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Market Snapshot. My name is Robert Kiza, and I'm happy to be with you guys today to once again take you through what opportunities we have in the markets today. So without wasting time, let's dive right in. We are going to begin, first of all, by looking just quickly at a snapshot of what the prices are at the moment in the marketplace. Looking at the commodities, as you can see, we're having a relatively good day for some of the commodities such as silver and of course gold, which of course has turned a bit bearish just a bit into the euro session. We shall be going over, we shall be focusing on the indices as well as on some of the currency pairs like EURUSD and GBPUSD. We shall also have a look at gold and see how gold has been moving and possibly see whether there are some opportunities for us there. Yeah, so so far looking at the start of the week to where we're at the moment, we are seeing a relatively choppy price action. We've been seeing a bit of hesitation on selling momentum for gold, which has been holding its levels quite nicely. Crossing over to Forex, of course, if you look at EURUSD and GBPUSD, those have also been holding very nicely. But of course, we can expect to see on the charts what the technical analysis is informing us and see how to proceed there. The indices, of all the indices, I think the one that is holding nicely is NASDAQ, which of course is being supported by NVIDIA, that has showed zero signs of bearish momentum. However, Dow Jones is currently trading in a bearish trade. The swing high for it, the swing low for it is now intact from its record levels of about 40,000, and we can expect to see a relatively weaker Dow Jones as we go into the rest of the days of this week. Now, of course, like as you guys know, if you go over the calendar, you're going to be able to see that we have the core PCE data coming out on Friday. So should we see lower PCE data, then I think that will then allow the indices to even have further downside. Crossing over to crypto, the different crypto assets are also looking like they are pushing back lower at the moment, and of course this is because we are going into the start of the summer period, which is June, where we can expect risk on sentiment to kind of pause. Now, for today, before we go to DXY, I just want us to go through the economic calendar and see what information we have there on the calendar for today. Awesome. So on the economic calendar, this is what we have. We've been having a series of data this morning coming from the Eurozone. We have a series of CPI data that came out. We also have some consumer confidence and business confidence data that came out during the earlier part of the morning. And of course, some data has also come out as of now. That's at 11 a.m. What we've been observing with the Eurozone is that a lot of the data has been indicating signs of slowdown in consumer spending. And of course, we have also been seeing that there's a general slowdown in most of the economies in the Eurozone. And that explains why you're seeing the CPI data is all indicating down, a decline, both on CPIs for Bavaria, CPIs for Wittenberg, and of course, even the German CPI that came out today also indicated signs of, that pullback on spending. Now, this, of course, is a big case for the ECB, because if they continue to see, slowdowns like this, it's going to build their case for them to cut rates. The ECB had indicated that they are going to look into cutting rates as soon as June this year. So we are waiting to see how that will affect the euro, which is currently holding close to premium zones. We shall be able to check that out when we go to the charts. So for today, guys, we don't really have much on the charts. I would say yesterday we had a number of Fed speakers who, of course, indicated that the rate hikes are not off the table. But we know that for now, regardless of what the Fed speakers say, we can still expect the rate cuts to come in as promised, and we should see the first rate cuts coming in the second half of the year. Now, going over to financial juice, we can just look at what data we have over there. So for financial juice, this is what we have. Okay, so over in Asia, the indices showed signs of weakness in early trading today morning, and we're also seeing that crossing over into the Eurozone, where we also saw the DAX trading relatively lower, and of course, even now the US indices before the US market has opened, we're already seeing signs of bearish momentum, as you see on the charts. And of course, there's an adage where they say that sell in May and go away. I don't know whether that explains why. We're seeing selling on stocks and selling on indices before we finish the month of May, but we are waiting to see how that pans out. Now, of course, recession expectations are also rising. As you guys must have seen, a lot of the data that has been coming out from the Eurozone and, of course, even from the US, starting to show signs of a slowdown in consumer spending. And, of course, this is what will build a case for a bearish indices, as well as also the risk on assets. Now, yesterday we had some auctions for the treasuries, and we saw that actually propelled the DXY higher. It explains why we saw in late trading yesterday, GBPUSD, and of course even some of the indices were selling, and of course that was because of those auction rates that indicated that there was a bit of demand. Now, we're also seeing that the US 10-year was actually able to rise on that auction that we saw yesterday. And of course, that explains why we are having a relatively bullish DXY. Now, let's cross over to the DXY so that we can start off our analysis. If you have any questions, guys, it would be good if you type in your questions so that I answer them as we go along. So now this is what the DXY is looking like. I've added my premium and discount zones there to show us currently where it's trading, and of course how that of course has an impact on the different levels. So at the moment, DXY is trading at about 104.794. Its premium zone is somewhere around 107.316. But it is still in a premium area here. I divided my box into two to show us the extreme premium zone and of course the general premium zone. And currently it's still trading in a premium zone. Now, as you guys will see, DXY, despite us having a relatively bullish euro, we have been seeing that DXY has actually been having higher lows. Okay, so you can see that with a trend line that you might want to draw like this, and of course these are signs of a bullish DXY. Now, in the earlier weeks, I think we also had indicated that it's likely that you can still have a relatively strong DXY, even when EURUSD and GBPUSD are showing signs of bullish momentum. And this typically happens when you're having traders crossing over to the risk on. So you can still have a bullish dollar even when EURUSD and GBPUSD have been rising. Now, what we need to wait and see over the course of the next few days is whether we get DXY moving higher. If we get DXY moving higher and going towards the peak of this top of the premium box here, then it's likely that we are going to see a relatively stronger DXY that will give it the last big boost before the last big push higher before the Fed cuts rates. Okay, so the Fed is supposed to cut rates. The Fed is looking at cutting rates sometime in September or July. So I believe DXY is going to benefit from that short-term weakness, especially on the back of a relatively stronger DXY. Now, I know that GBPUSD, and of course, some of you will disagree with me. GBPUSD has been steadily rising. EURUSD has also been steadily rising, but we're already seeing signs of weakness, as we shall see on the charts. So that I believe will allow the DXY to move higher. Now, some of the Fed speakers have also indicated that there are signs that rather they had indicated that the rate hikes are not off the table. Of course, I know that they are most likely not going to cut rates, since they indicated that they started QT tapering, which is a process that usually comes before they cut rates. So the fact that they have mentioned that, I believe, is going to also allow the DXY to possibly move higher, and we should see the market moving higher. Now, as you know, we're entering the summer period, which is around from June, July, August. That summer period is going to allow for people that are trading stocks to move their money into money market assets, such as short-term assets to hold their cash, so that in case the indices start pulling back or their stocks start pulling back, they don't get drawn down from that pullback. So I believe that is going to benefit dollar assets, and you should see the dollar relative moving higher, possibly to those levels over the next few days. Awesome. Yeah, for those of you that maybe might not be aware, I'm actually in Nairobi. So if you want to meet with me, just squad. I have not seen you on the video this morning. I've not seen Malombe. I'm not seeing Apollo. You can reach out for me, and we can catch up and we can chat. Yeah, I'm enjoying this beautiful city of Nairobi. The weather is really good, and I'm waiting to see what more is in store. Awesome. So let's cross over to MT5 and see what's happening on what we are going to go through. Okay, so for the MT5, this is what we have at the moment. We are going to start with Dow Jones, and then we shall cross over to the rest of the assets. So for Dow Jones, this is what we are having. Give me a moment for my MT5 to open. My MT5 is not loading. I don't know why. Okay, let me see if I can go to it. All right. So we are going to start with the Dow Jones, and we are going to see it on the H4 time frame. Okay, my MT5 is a little slow. All right. Okay, so this is what we have on the Dow Jones. So for the Dow Jones, we are seeing that it has already completed its move to its record high. And at the moment, we are seeing that the swing low is now active on it, where we are seeing it retracing quite aggressively from that peak level of 40,000. Now, looking at my fib levels that I've drawn there, you can see that from the peak level of about 40,076, it's currently trading below the 50-day moving average. It has also broken below the 200-day moving average, again showing signs of strong downside momentum. And we are also in a discount zone on that H4 time frame. I've drawn my fib level from when we had the first golden cross, where the 50-day crest above the 200-day, and it got into a strong upside momentum, as you guys can see. But for now, we are seeing that now it is now reversing that entire move, and it is currently trading below that golden ratio and also below the 200-day. So for today, what I'm expecting is, first of all, on the economic calendar, there's not much over there. However, looking at the technical setup on this index, it is already showing signs of strong downside momentum. But I expect that we are going to see a relatively slight pullback into the US session. So just monitor it, monitor price action into the open of the US session. I would not advise looking for trades at the moment on the Dow Jones. First of all, if you're going to look for a trade right now, you're most likely going to get stuck in the price action. So wait for the open of the US session, see how the market reacts. Most likely, we are going to have one of two things. We should likely see a potential reversal, possibly back to that 200-day, and of course, it will likely maybe create a higher a lower high that will then allow it to sell into Friday. Now, I also know that the PCE data is coming out on Friday, and that is going to be one of the big determinants of where price action resumes for this asset. But for now, I would say that the move is majorly done, and I don't think we can expect much to happen today. So either we range or we see a reversal back higher and then wait for it now to retrace back to the downside. Now, when you go on the daily, for the Dow Jones, you can actually see the structure of the market much more clearly. Okay, it's like we moved up in a nice uptrend. Okay, we entered into a swing high, a swing low here, and now we're moving down on the other side, almost like a V formation. So we should see how it moves and does around there. Now, when you cross over to NASDAQ is still hesitant on where it's going to go. We are still seeing signs of hesitation for selling momentum. and I believe this is likely on the back of strong the Mag 7, okay, the strong tech stocks. Nvidia has not showed signs of backing down from where it is. Nvidia actually was able to cross as high as 1,100, and it's still holding price action at those levels. So I believe if we see Nvidia starting to pull back, and if it now becomes a laggard, then I think that will then allow NASDAQ to pull back. Now, in comparison between the two assets, Dow Jones is already trading below its 200-day moving average, and it is doing this on all the major higher time frames. So this is already a sign of downside momentum. Now, when you cross over to the NASDAQ, NASDAQ is still trading above its 50-day moving average. Still no signs of downside momentum. You can see the structure for the Dow is already in a strong downside trend, which we are not yet observing on the NASDAQ. So if for those of you that might be looking for a swing short, the NASDAQ might be your best chance for that. But we are close to record highs, which is around 18,931. So if we do not manage to take out the record high, then I think the pullback will begin. So how far down is NASDAQ going to go? Now I drew my fib level again from the golden cross that we had on the we had that golden cross at here. This was at around 17,819. Okay, that's when you had the golden cross, and that's when we saw that the uptrend for the NASDAQ started aggressively moving higher. So at the moment, we have not even been able to go below the 50-day. So until we go below the 50-day, what I would advise is just monitor how we do today. So if we fail to break up here, then it's likely that the next move for the NASDAQ is going to be a break to the downside. So either we move up there or we break and possibly go this way to that 61.8% golden ratio. Now, let's cross over to GBPUSD. So GBPUSD is showing very limited signs of downside momentum. Of course, we have not been able to breach this high that we achieved on the 28th, which was yesterday. We were able to reach as high as 1.28. The GBPUSD is currently trading about 50 pips below that high, but it's also above the 50-day moving average, and it's in a premium zone. Okay, so this is a sign that that GBPUSD is still relatively bullish. Okay, so we need to break below the 50-day moving average and possibly also break below that 50% retracement level. So if we don't break below here, then I don't think we are going to see GBPUSD moving lower. Now, for those of you that are doing swing trading, you might be interested in the UK election. There's a UK election that's going to take place on the 7th of July, and that election is going to allow GBPUSD possibly to sell because typically during elections we tend to see a relatively weaker currency. That is for the local currency, and in this case we're talking about the pound. So maybe that could allow the GBPUSD to sell. But for now, we're in a very nice uptrend. Okay. And for trading today, I want you guys to just observe the price action around here. Okay. You can look for sales and set your stop loss relatively tight, closer to that 1.28 level. If we do not manage to breach that level and move up, then I think the next move for GBPUSD is going to be down. Now, what I can advise is also look at the DXY. The DXY has showed limited signs of upside momentum, and I think that is why GBPUSD is still hesitant on selling, because if DXY was showing signs of strong upside momentum, then I think GBPUSD would give up its gains immediately. But it's holding its ground around there. It has temporarily paused the move to the upside, but it's holding its price action very nicely there. So we have to observe and see how it does. If we don't breach that level up there, then I think the next level will be back down. So you can use limit orders and maybe set a move here. In case maybe it triggers it, then you can look for a move back to the upside. Yeah, and for those maybe that may be wondering what my bias is for GBPUSD, at the moment it's neutral. At the moment I can't really tell what it's going to do. At the moment it's neutral. But if we see some strong momentum kicking in, then my bias is definitely going to switch to a sell. EURUSD. So for EURUSD, this is what we are having. we have some strong imbalances on this asset, and I believe of the two, the one that is holding its ground very nicely is the Euro USD. We had an imbalance that was created on the 14th of May. We had an even bigger one created around the 15th of May. And then we have also this one here, okay? So we have to see price action breaking below these imbalance points. Somewhere around here, we need to break below. And then, of course, you also need to see a break around here. If we don't see those breaks, then I think we are going to continue in a nice uptrend and possibly move to this level here. Now, that is what I'm expecting, okay? So, what I would advise for Euro USD, you can set a sell limit that in case maybe it moves and comes and touches that level up here, then you can maybe potentially look for a sell. Now, the other thing also that is important is we still have a golden cross here, and we are still above that golden cross point by a very big amount of pips, possibly that's about 130 pips. So we need to break below this level and move down. Now, on my fib levels also, we are also trading in a premium zone on Euro USD on the H4 time frame. If you guys want to see how the previous downtrend was on Euro USD, we were trading quite nicely to the downside. We had these peak points here. We had a peak point around here. Then we had another one around here. Then we had another one around here. And you can see we moved in that downtrend. So this changed, and then we entered into a nice uptrend that took us to where we are right now at the moment. Okay, so what I can say is for Euro USD, keep observing it. If we do not hold, if we do not hold demand at this level here, then I think the next thing is going to be to come and move down and possibly go into these levels down here. So that's what I have for Euro USD. If you guys have anything you want some clarity on or any questions regarding that, type in the Q&A and I'll come back to it. Now, gold has a very nice setup today, which is a bearish flag that I've drawn on a H4 time frame. This bearish flag is showing signs that we are going to see something like this playing out for gold. So we had very nice imbalance for gold. And before this imbalance, we also had a very, very nice descending triangle that was formed. That descending triangle actually formed in a very key supply area for gold, which was above 2,400 and of course even around 2,440. So it was a no-brainer that gold was not going to be able to manage to hold price action there, and we saw it selling. But you can see it held a temporary uptrend, and it's now in that uptrend. So if we break below the bearish flag, I think that would be a good opportunity for us to sell gold and see it going into this level here. Now, looking at how gold is doing, looking at how silver is doing on the day, silver is also showing signs of bearish momentum. So I think if this bearish momentum continues for silver, then I think gold is going to give up its gains over the course of the day, and you should see it selling. Now, one thing I also need to add on gold is we are still not seeing signs of dollar strength. So if a dollar strength is not, if the dollar does not wake up and show us very strong upside momentum, then I think gold is going to come and possibly move up there. Don't forget that this year there is very, 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 very strong demand for very strong demand for gold. So at every opportunity, I think gold is going to have a lot of signs of buying. But for now, I believe we should potentially see some signs of bearish momentum. Awesome. So questions. It's now question time. Okay. So let's revisit DXY. We are going to revisit DXY. Let's go there quickly. So for the DXY, let's see, where do I have it? Did I have my DXY? Give me a moment. DXY is here. Okay. So yeah, so Butin, you asked 1049, should you look for a sell at hey, I see DXY 1049, then boom short. What's your take? So now DXY's bias is right now at the moment neutral, but we are, as you've seen how I've drawn my lines there, at the moment, DXY has actually higher lows. Okay, it has higher lows on that H4 time frame, and it has been trending higher since the start of December. So one of the things that is going to allow DXY to move higher, don't look for any serious moves today on the DXY, because we do not have any catalysts for any move. The first catalyst we have for any move today is going to be the PCE data, which is going to be released on Friday. So I think PCE is going to show us very strong momentum for DXY, but notice that they are higher lows. Okay, so this is a clear sign that maybe DXY wants to continue and move higher. Now, if you want to look for a short on it, you might want to set your stops around these levels here, because if it takes out that previous higher low, then I think it will show a change of trend and break of structure showing signs of a downtrend. But remember, even if it breaks here, if it does not break below here, it could have something like this. Okay, so something like this is very possible. And now, if you're in a trade and you're expecting it to go all the way, you're going to find yourself getting trapped for nothing. Okay, so just wait for a very strong catalyst, which is going to be the data we have on Friday, and then you can see how to approach that later. So I hope that helps, Butin. Awesome. Hi, Just Squad. How are you doing? Just Squad, I'm in your city. I don't know where you are. Yeah, I hope you're doing awesome, Just Squad. Just Squad, you're saying kindly, can you click inside the AUD CPI report? From the report, what are we mining? The difference between seasonality adjusted, trimmed mean, and CPI, and between the difference between seasonally adjusted, trimmed mean, and CPI excluding volatile items. So for seasonally adjusted, adjusted is just typically it's where the prices there will be a change in prices typically, because around that time that's when we tend to see a dip in the prices. That's what we mean by seasonally adjusted. Trimmed mean, they will perhaps reduce how many products they are taking into account when they're determining the mean for any given data set. So that's what that means. Now, CPI excluding volatile items, that is the core CPI. And of course, for that one, we usually typically tend to remove items like utilities and fuel and I think EFU, electricity, fuel, and utilities, because typically those are the ones that tend to give us an erroneous read. Okay, so for the core, that's typically the one we have, the one excluding the volatile items, and for seasonally adjusted, I hope you pick what that means. Now, for CPI for AUD, I do not know whether there was that much of an impact on it. Data came out when we had that data when at 4:30, the monthly CPI indicator year over year. Okay, I don't think there was that much of an impact on the AUD. I might have to check on the charts and see. I'm seeing here there's a bit of a choppy reaction. There's a bit of a choppy trend on AUD USD. Maybe I can just open it here on trading view for us to see. The data came out at 4:30. 4:30, that was around here. Okay, so we had a bit of a spike, just squad. So the spike took us as high as this, and we went back down. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think you should give Australia CPI that much attention. I don't think it deserves that attention because it typically doesn't react as much. I do not know how this would be traded, but we can typically see, first, this candle here is a liquidity sweep candle showing us that there was not enough demand. That's why we saw price breaking back down. Okay, so I believe AUD USD is already showing signs of bearish momentum. So for today, you might want to look for some sales on it, possibly taking you back to this level down here. Yeah, awesome. Let's see other questions. Kindly show us how to use buy limits and sell limits, buy stop limit and sell stop limit. Okay, so for those ones, I think I went over them last time, but if you want, I can just go through them again. Let me see, just a moment. Okay, so this is our MT5. Okay, so we said for the buy limit, you set it below, and the idea is you're expecting that in case the market were to move down, it will trigger your buy limit. Okay, and then immediately after triggering the buy limit, it then moves up. Okay, now for the sell limit, you set it up. Okay, and you're expecting that in case the market moves up, it's going to come trigger your sell limit up here, and then it goes back down. So the idea is that you're expecting that the market is going to buy again, reach your sell point, and then sell. And then for the case for the buy limit, you're expecting that the market is going to sell. It won't buy, but it will rather sell. And when it sells, it will come trigger your buy limit, and then it will continue moving up. Okay, so that is typically how you use the buy limit and sell limit. So you said there's the buy stop and sell stop limit. Let me just check on those ones in a moment. Reality, I hope you're following. I'm through with the buy limit and the sell limit. So now I want to look at the others. Let me see. Okay, so this is a buy stop limit. So the buy stop limit, you won't find that on the chart. This one you have to come and you put it from here. So typically for this one, it asks you for different parameters. Okay, you'll have to set a price. Okay, and then you come and you set your stop limit price. So stop limit price is where, for instance, you want the market to trigger you want the market to trigger your order within a particular within a particular range. Okay, and with that particular range, you're going to have a stop loss and a take profit. That's why it has two fields here. So for instance, you maybe put this level here like this, then you come and you maybe put another level here like this. Then maybe you put your stop loss, which is here, and then you take profit, you put it here like this. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it's not this is a buy stop. That is up. That has to be above the price. Okay, so let's do this. Stop limit, this is this. Is 8. Okay, I don't know why it's not this is stop loss. Okay, 2 3. It's 2 3 4 8. This is 2 3 4. Okay, so if you're doing a buy stop, that's up. Okay, so that would mean that it has to be above the price. So that would maybe be something like 2 3, because remember the buy stop is above the price. Okay, now the reason why you have two fields here is that there's a limit that you're putting for that buy stop. Okay, it has to trigger it within that limit. So if the gold is trading right now at 2347, okay, that would mean that maybe your buy stop, if you're expecting maybe it to buy, but only within a range, you can maybe set within what, say maybe 2350, okay, and maybe 2350 maybe to 2357, okay. Okay, 57 could be maybe 52, 53. Then your stop loss would be what? Stop loss would be maybe could be too low. Let's see. And then you take profits, possibly this. Huh? Okay. It's not yet allowing me to. Let me see. I've not used this buy stop limit before. Let me see. It could be maybe what I'm putting as my stop loss and take profits. Wait. Okay, so let's put maybe 2351. Then we can use a stop limit price of 23, maybe 54. Oh, 23. Okay. All right. So, okay. So if you want to use a buy stop limit, the idea is that you're opening a trade, okay, and you want it to be triggered above, okay, and the stop limit price is where you want the range within you want your buy stop to work, okay. So it's like for instance, it's like a range bound kind of pending order. So you want that it triggers at 2351. That would be your ideal price, okay. But then you're putting a stop limit price that in case maybe it sells, right, it in case it sells, it should not trigger a price below this stop limit price, okay. That's why I believe why it's allowing me now to place, okay. And the stop loss now and the take profit. So my take profit, if for instance, if maybe it's triggered at 2351, okay, and it will trigger this order from 235, anywhere between 2345 to 2351, and it will take my profit at 2360, just in case gold buys, right? Now the stop loss, ideally, let me see how the stop loss works. So if this is my stop limit price, okay, I want my order to be triggered between 2345 and 2351, and I want my take profit to be 2360, and I want my stop loss in case it goes below my limit, my two price limits, the 2345 and 2351. My stop limit then in that case would be anywhere below the stop limit price. So based on your account size, you might maybe want to pick something like, I don't know, 2345, maybe 2344, depending on your risk parameters are, okay. So if my range is between 2345 to 2351 and my market price is 2347, I might maybe want to look at maybe somewhere around 2340 or 2342, so that I don't lose in case it sells, right? Now when you're done with that, it will place it, okay. So that is how the buy stop limit works. So the buy stop limit has a tight range, it has a stop loss, and it has a take profit, okay. So for it, it works in it has a limit of price, right? It's a bit like a range limit, yeah. Now for a sell stop limit, it works the opposite of that, okay. So in this case, you ideally just setting it above, your limit is above, okay. So you're going to come here to new order, you're going to come to the pending order, then you're going to select the sell stop limit. So you set your price above maybe 2350, and maybe you want a range of maybe 2360. What would the range be? Okay, so sell stop limit, that is from 2350. Okay, 2350 to maybe 2360. Okay, at 2355, 2347. Okay, there are certain levels where it can't allow you. Okay, okay, so I'm limiting it between 2350 to, okay, so it allows 2345, 2343, 2340, 2339. Okay, so for the sell stop limit, it has an upper bound, okay, which it allows. So ideally, you want that in case the price buys, it's going to buy, trigger that level, which could be 2350, 2340, anywhere above it. Once it triggers it, it's going to sell. But in case maybe, for instance, the price was unable to reach your stop limit order, say for instance, maybe if gold does not reach 2350, right, but it comes back down, okay, I think you've seen that happening sometimes in the market. It doesn't buy, it comes back down. Okay, it doesn't buy up to a certain level, instead it will sell. So you want that this pending order becomes an active market order, right? within a certain level. Now, of course, if you're selling gold, you don't want it to try your sell too low. Otherwise, you're not going to make enough. So you might want as high as possible. Okay. So in this case, I might maybe want it to sell. Remember, it has to be below the market price. It won't allow anything above the market price. That's why when I click 48, it doesn't trigger it. But anywhere below the market price, maybe 46, rather 45, 44, 43. So in this case, maybe I'm going to go with 2340, just in case gold enters a very sharp sell. I want to be at the top of the sell. Now, my stop loss also matters. As you can see, it's also not going to allow the order to go through until your stop loss is put. Now, if I'm expecting a sell to occur on gold, I don't want that I lose money in case it buys too much, right? So that means that my stop loss needs to be a level that is convenient, that I'm not going to lose money, right? So in this case, I might want to set it at maybe somewhere like maybe 2349. Okay, I don't want gold to buy too much. Okay, but 2349 is a bit too near. So maybe 2356, anywhere around this level here. Okay. And then I'm putting my stop limit price can't be this if my stop loss is that. So this maybe this, yeah, somewhere around there. And then I want maybe to take gold all the way down, right? So in this case, if I place my order, I'm having my sell stop limit. The limit, the range is 2340 and 2354. Okay. And then my TP is somewhere around here. So I think you're getting the idea, and it makes sense. Okay. Awesome. So the difference between the sell stop limits and the sell limits is that the sell stop limits have a range within you use them. That you want your orders to be triggered within that range. And they all also, of course, also have a buy stop and a sell stop. Then the sell limits, if maybe it's a buy limit, you're expecting price to buy, rather to sell, trigger your buy limit and then buy again. So sell limit, trigger your sell limit and then sell again. Yeah. Awesome. Next question you're saying, is there a good time of the day to analyze the market or trades? Now, I believe for analyzing the markets, you can do that anywhere within the day. Okay. But it is trading that is most important, because trading has particular times where you're ideally supposed to focus on looking for entries, right? So ideally during the if you're looking at the London session, you're looking at anywhere between 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, because that's when a London session happens, and that's when you're able to get good opportunities on like GBPUSD or EURUSD. Then for analysis, you have to do analysis before the London session. Before the London session, opens. Yeah, before a London session opens, because if a London session opens and you don't, you'll be late for the analysis. So if you're trading New York, do your analysis right now, because before the New York opens at 4:30. If you're trading London, between 7 to 8 before it opens at 9. Yeah. Awesome. What's your outlook on EURUSD? EURUSD, I think I'm through with it. We had said that we need a bit more momentum. Okay. Just a moment, guys. I need to close these limit orders so that they don't get triggered. Okay. So yeah. So for EURUSD, it's still showing signs of upside momentum, but I'm expecting that in case we break below this level and go below that 50% fib, then we should be looking for some sell momentum. Now, it's likely that the reason why we're not getting a clear sign on EURUSD is because the dollar index is not strong enough. EURUSD is also having very limited strength. I think all those pointing to a very choppy market. So I think give it more time to observe and see what happens with that. Awesome. All right. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for all of you that have been able to join us for the session today. And of course, you can check in the content in the links. For those of you that are joining FXPesa for the first time, before you've not traded before, you have an opportunity to actually use a demo account with FXPesa to test out the market and see what opportunities might be there. And for those of you that are looking to open a live account, you can also open up a live account. And of course, I always recommend that you use the FXPesa Premier account, because it has tight spreads, which are which are always the best for trading. And of course, for other resources, you can always find us on the social media platforms, the different social media platforms there, and to get updates. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. And I wish you all happy trading. If maybe you needed a bit more analysis, you can always refer back to the video because there's going to be a recording and you can listen in. Awesome, guys. Cheers, everyone. And that's it for today. And we talk soon. Cheers.